Time to return to Project Cars, and we get to race on one of my least favourite circuits. Well, at least in the Formula 1 games anyway. See, usually beforehand when I'm doing these kind of races, I have practiced for a good hour or so beforehand. But not in this case, I just went straight into it, which means I'm completely new to this circuit, hence me not knowing where to brake for turn 1. Or for turn 2. Yeah. My problems for turn 1 seem to be persistent on the very next lap, where I did what I believe a fantastic job of keeping it out the wall. Didn't even lock the wheels. Also, these gravel traps are annoying. They pull the car left if you hadn't noticed. Then again, getting hit in the rear end doesn't help. Pay attention to this reddish-orange car here, he is important. I have just overtaken him. And yeah, he decided to be a new friend of mine.
We think you need to come into the pit.
And so did he.
Suspension damage, so we need to check it out.
Dick.
We can fix it.
Here is what happened, because the AI is completely inept. He is behind me, I run a bit wide, he thinks he can go around my outside, clips my wheel and drives me into the wall. And as I go to rejoin, I end up rejoining in someone's path, but it wasn't my fault, I didn't know he was there. The hilarious thing is, my session just ends. And I think to myself, why have I been removed from the session? Well, it turns out that I was disqualified. Yay me. So we now move on to the qualifying, and I've basically had no practice. I mean, the cold tyres don't help. This is my outlap, and the car just will not drive in a straight line because of the cold tyres. Now this was my best lap during qualifying, but bear in mind at this point in time I've had maybe 5 or 6 laps practice on this circuit. I know nothing about it. Worst of all, I'm having to follow somebody round, although that ended up being a help, not a hindrance, because I could just follow off him and spot his braking points. Makes life easy, actually, in this case. Half a second down by the end of the first sector, and this was my fastest lap. My overall fastest lap was on the first lap of the race, I think. It was certainly my best put together lap, because right now I am missing every apex. I think I've maybe hit 1 so far. And at this point I still couldn't get that braking point right. I keep braking too early. I learn, but not soon enough. See, the main reason I hate this circuit is because the corners, there's something about it. There's mid-speed corners, and there's a lot of understeer, and they're horrible. That's why I don't like it. Coming around the final corner, and yeah, this was my lap, which was good enough to put me in 5th. Yay. On to the start of the race, and go. I need to get better at my reaction times, but anyway, I still managed to get a cracker of a start, and breeze past everyone. I really need to crank the difficulty up a couple of knocks, because this is just too easy. My starts are too amazing for everyone. But that ended up being all of my race. That was it. There was never anything more. It was just that. That was the only action, and I stayed ahead right to the end when I ended up winning. So yay. For all you anime fans out there, I laughed at who came second. It kept me amused during the race. On to race 2, and I have an interesting camera perspective for you this time, which I may do a lot more of if you lot enjoy it. But yes, here we go down the opening stretch, and yeah, one of my decent starts again. I started 9th, and I'm edging my way up a lot more forwards. And into turn 1 I forget where I'm supposed to brake, and just go so wide. But it means I have the inside line for the next corner, and I'm able to push a guy, I mean overtake a guy. and gain a good position. I think this is one of the few times that the AI has given me a legitimately good race. I mean, most of the time I'm either at the front or at the very back, but this is one of the few times that I've had a good fight with AI. Coming into the last complex, and this is where a small amount of contact is made. My epic lunge into the final corner ends up being a bit bumpy. Not what I'd expected, but it happened. He got the place back, but that didn't hold me off. And so, simply on to lap 2, and I'm now in second place. 7 positions in 1 lap, that's still fairly decent, although I still can't hit that first apex. Thus begins my charge on Asuna Yuki. Which is a girl's name, for all I know, but hey, I'm not sexist. I get one hell of a good exit out of the final corner and begin my chase down on this mysterious orange driver. Figured I could outbrake him, her, it into the first turn. So, pulling out, stomp on the brake pedal, run wide, and give the position back. Yep. That's how this fight's gonna be. I actually had to lift off during a few of these corners, because if I'd have kept it flat when the AI wasn't, I'd have driven into the back of them. Not ideal. Can I outbrake them into this complex? You know. Once again running wide, kick of oversteer. Right, so we come into the final complex of corners, and I decide that now is when I'm going to make my move, or at least set myself up for the move. Thankfully, coming through the final corner, I get a decent enough tow off the car in front so that it can slingshot me forwards. The overall slipstream down the straight in this game is ridiculous. Breeze past the side. And down through the corner, and bit of bumping wheels, trading paint, it's fine. It's actually quite a decent fight. Rarely has the AI given me this much space. Normally when the AI tries to fight with you, they end up running you off the road, but hey ho. That sparked the end of my fight, and that was basically it for the rest of the race. Onto the final lap, and I decided to bring up the overlay which shows you all the components of the car and how everything's going. So you can see my throttle and brake management as well as the load on the tyres and their overall temperature. I personally think this overlay is quite cool, but it can be a little distracting. Come around the final corner for the final time. Give the wheel a little wiggle. And that's race 2 out of 2. And another victory.
What a win. Fantastic job.
And there you have it. Me, the winner. Praise me. I'm awesome. Opening up my inbox, I found out I have an invitation to go karting at the end of the year in November. Sure. Next round will be in Donington. Probably record it later. Yay. See you in a week.